So I am on the hunt again, despite the fact that I look a little different. I don't think you guys have ever seen me with a hat, but I am on the hunt again. We are hunting a collection this time. I am headed right now to take a look at 16 long boxes of comics. It just popped up earlier today. I was on the guide 3 minutes after the thing posted up, and now I am going to check it out. So I don't know what we're going to find. I have a feeling, according to what the guy is saying, that there are some silver and bronze age books in the collection. No major keys, but as we've already discussed, a key can mean many different things. So we're going to see whether there's some good stuff here. The price for the collection is pretty reasonable at 16 long boxes. And what I'm going to be doing as I go here is doing some spot checking to see what types of books are in the collection and to see if there are things that I actually need. Fingers crossed that I can make some magic today. So I'm going to look at this one collection, and then I'll head a couple of minutes away and hopefully pick up 3 universal keys. So stay tuned because this could be a really cool video and a cool hunt, and I will try to document the journey as best I can, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as my camera drifts away from me. As you can see, the seat is still up in the back of the car. We were unable to work out a deal for the boxes. I was hopeful that we were going to be able to make some magic, but I was unable to arrive at a favorable price for the guy that had the collection. There were definitely some nice books in there. Nothing major, no major books at all, but a lot of little books and a lot of nice little books, but I couldn't make the numbers work in my head. And before I had actually gone to look at this collection, as I was driving up here, as I was sitting in traffic, I had already started to, in my head, wrap my mind around the fact that I may leave empty-handed. And so I was all prepared for that, because I was mentally prepared. I was mentally prepared that if I wasn't able to arrive at a number that made sense based upon what I was seeing, that I was prepared to walk away. The guy and I had a wonderful conversation, wonderful exchange about the hobby, about collections and buying comics and reselling comics and all that kind of stuff. And when I left, we shook hands and we kept moving. And I don't think there were any hurt feelings on either side. And it just goes to show that even if you're not able to work a deal where you can actually make a deal happen, that you can still have a good time, you know? So we're going to hit this next place. I'm a couple of miles away from that place, and I think I'm going to be on time, which is a big thing for me. So I'm going to put the camera down and step on the gas and get there. Talk soon. So because cash is king, I am on my way to a Bank of America to pick up some cash. The guy told me that he would take PayPal, and then he's like, hey, well, can you give me cash? So now we're getting cash and we're going to head back. What's cool, though, is I'm able to pick up some cool books. That's what matters. So I came here to basically see and possibly purchase 3 decent keys. Showed up, and one of the keys had been sold. The other key wasn't in as good a shape as it was supposed to be. And then one had a slight miscut. So what was not necessarily negotiated beforehand definitely became a negotiation when I was on site. And I don't negotiate, not really. A price is stated, and either I buy it or I don't. But I actually went into negotiation mode. And what was cool, though, I'll tell you, what was cool with this transaction was that the guy actually had a stockpile of Silver Age books on hand. Part of the challenge was that he is an ASM guy. He's a Spider-Man guy. And so he showed me a box of goodies, and he was like, whoa, I don't know if I want to sell these. And you know me, well, why are you showing them if I can't buy them? So we had a back and forth, we had an exchange, and we actually arrived at what I think is a fair deal for him and myself. He walked away with some cash, and I walked away with some nice books, some of which were free. And so I think we were both slightly uncomfortable and slightly happy at the same time. And I think that makes for a really good negotiation when that happens. And the guy's basically like, so can I give you a call if I get more stuff? So I think that's also a sign that he appreciates, you know, where I was coming from, how I negotiated with him, the fact that I was willing to go get him cash and all that kind of stuff. So all is well. And if you're curious what I picked up, you definitely want to stay tuned until the end of the video when I'm back in the comic book room and I'm able to show you what I snagged today. So I am back in the comic book room, and hopefully no one takes offense to the fact that I am wearing a hat indoors. But let's just say today was like no shave Saturday. And I am furry. I can grow a face full of hair and almost like half of a head of hair. So I'm gonna keep the hat on. But I am back in the comic book room and I'm ready to show you guys the books that I picked up. Today was just a whirlwind of emotion. I set out to go and look at a couple of collections and a couple of stacks of books. And it was just all over the place, the experiences, as you guys probably saw in the footage that aired just a couple of moments ago. It was a whirlwind, and I don't regret any of the decisions that were made today. I might tomorrow, but today I don't regret those decisions. I think that they were the right thing to do. And I ended up with a nice stack of books, and I will sleep well tonight, and I will wake up tomorrow, and I will hopefully not regret anything, but I'll just get back on the hunt all over again. In fact, I do have an appointment to pick up a book tomorrow. A really nice book. I am super excited about that. But with that said, I want to show you guys the books that I picked up. And as I mentioned, some of these books were actually free. Through negotiation, I was able to get a pretty good deal on a couple of them, and free is like the ultimate in good deals. So one of the first is this Machine Man right here. Machine Man #1. You guys know I've been talking a little bit about this, and I saw this one in the bin and just had to pick it up. It is actually a really nice copy of this book. I think with the press, we might be looking at an 8.5 maybe, if not a little higher. The one issue with this one, it wasn't boarded, but there is a dog ear on the back side and a little bit of dirt up at the top. But other than that, that is a really nice copy of Machine Man. And it was so nice, in fact, that I just had to get two. Had to get two to complete the set of them. I think this is my fourth one. I want to say this might be the fourth copy that I've had, but this one also is pretty high mid-grade. It has a dog ear as well on the back top. But other than that, it is actually, again, a nice copy of a great Kirby classic. Next up, we picked up this book because, you know, you can never have too many of certain books. So we have Secret Wars #8. This book definitely will benefit from a press. There are a couple of creases right over here that I do not think break color. But a press may be able to get out some of those defects that I was able to see when I kind of took this thing out of the plastic and looked at it carefully. Back is clear from what I remember. Inside pages are solid, but there are those little creases over here that, again, hopefully we'll be able to bump out. There's something about this book. I have so many of them, or at least I feel like I have so many of them. It is X-Force #11, and I think this is either the first appearance of Copycat or the first appearance of the real Domino, who was replaced by Copycat. I can never remember, but it is a gorgeous yellow cover and also some decent artwork from Rob Liefeld. But again, this is one of those books that when I see it, I kind of have to pick that one up. The same can be said for this book right here. And this is the reason why I actually went to the shop. He had a couple of these. This one by far was the nicer of the two. This one doesn't have any spine ticks on the front or the back that I remember seeing. Again, I'm going to spend a little bit more time with it here at the house now that I have it. The one bad thing with this book is it has a really bad cut. And the guy tried to tell me that this was actually a good thing because you can actually see her whole foot. I would rather see the full title and forget about her foot, but it is what it is. But it actually is a really nice copy of New Mutants 98. This one will probably go to CGC and will probably come back, I'm going to guess, at least a 9.2. Fingers crossed, at least a 9.2, if not a little higher. And again, I want to spend a little bit more time with that book because I think that it has some potential. This book is one that has haunted my dreams. This book I have seen so many times, and every time I see it, it looks so beat up. It is Amazing Spider-Man 62. It is an awful read. Awful read. Medusa comes to town riding like this flying, I don't even know what you call it. It's like an air scooter that you stand on with handlebars. It's awful. But it is a really classic cover, and because the book is white, it is so hard to find it in nice shape. And I was lucky enough to spot it, and I had to have this book. It is a John Romita cover. It is just gorgeous to me. This book is just gorgeous. So very, very pleased to add that book to the collection. The same can be said for this next book. This is another book that I see all the time in the wilds. I've been to shops that have 3 and 4 copies of this book, and it is always beat. I had to do a little bit of trade-off with this one because the book itself is in better shape versus ones that I've seen, but it has a little bit of, it might be a water stain up top, right up here where the G is. I want to spend a little more time with it to see if I can flake some of that off, but it might actually be a stain versus something that's actually deposited onto the book. But it actually looks pretty nice versus many of the others that I've seen. I mean, this is probably maybe a 6, maybe a 6.5. Again, inside of both of this one and the 62 are nice. Backs look nice. It has a corner ding down here that I think can be corrected a little bit. The appearance of it with a press. But this is a really nice copy versus every single one that I've seen in the wild thus far. So 2 great books that get crossed off of my run for Amazing Spider-Man. 2 that I've hunted for and been unsuccessful at getting. I am definitely pleased to have those. And as you guys know, I am getting closer and closer to completing the run, at least the portion that goes from 1 to 261. We're going to worry about the rest of that stuff later, but 1 to 261 is getting, I think, more narrow. I think that the gap is getting more narrow. So let's go with that. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you pardon me for wearing this hat indoors. Next time, I will be clean shaven and decapped. If you guys need to reach me, feel free to do so. Regie Collects on Instagram and regiecollects@gmail.com. Take care.